Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your buddy Uncle Bruce here. Stock Markets with Bruce. It's today's date is Monday, August the 7th, 2023. How you doing, everyone? Welcome to the party. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hopefully, wherever you are, weather has calmed down a bit from the heat end of it. I guess it all depends. Here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I'm hanging out for now, quite nice. High 70s, low 80s. Uh, Summer continues here. Not bad at all. Nothing extreme going on. Thankfully, forest fire smoke is virtually non-existent here. Has been very clear, and hopefully it'll continue. Those of you who are watching from around the world, welcome this morning. We have the markets a little higher in the morning here, a little green tinge to the market. We're up 35 on the Dow, 7.5 on, or 7.25 on S&P, and the Nasdaq is up 41 points. Not much going on there. We did have that drop off on Friday. The Dow lost 150 points. Not a bloodbath, but we just didn't see the market want to put a rally on Friday afternoon in the last 2 hours with options expiring. The market decided to stay down 150 points. We're only up 36. We haven't even recovered that. So nothing really mega. There's not a lot of mega motivation for the markets to get in, I guess, so far today, or market players. Having said that, sell-off isn't continuing. So, okay, first thing to do, first thing to watch for a turnaround in the market is, does the selling let up before buyers overpower a lack of sellers and we have higher prices? So far, that's happening. Will it continue? Stay tuned. I'll let you know. We'll figure it out. The talk today in the marketplace is varied, but what you have to keep in mind and keep an eye on is the bond market for interest rates will indicate to us what the big players are worried about or thinking about. At the moment, on the so-called bond market, as far as treasury notes go, the U.S. 10-year is paying just at 4.08 percentage points. So, you know, that if you're getting 4% on your money through a bank, through like a savings account, you are in effect getting what the United States government is paying the world on a 10-year note. If they were to issue one right now, they'd be paying 4.08%. Question is now, will rates go higher or will they go lower going forward through the rest of this year? The gamble and the consensus is at least 1/4 percentage point more of a rise. Then the consensus seems to be, well, at that point, maybe the U.S. Federal Reserve won't raise rates anymore. They'll leave them where they are, ride out the rest of the year, keep an eye on the statistics for inflation and unemployment and economic performance and inflationary prices. And hopefully, everyone's crossing your fingers, maybe inflation will continue to back off, the pressure will be down, and the Fed won't have to raise rates anymore. And then going into 2024, the hope is that we begin to slowly see a little pullback in rates. That's the Goldilocks scenario. Unfortunately, the world generally doesn't work that simply. And here's the thing. And many of you who are again, I hate to bring this up, but I have to bring it up because it's a reality. The reality is I'm getting old. And so when I talk about the last 20 years of what's been going on in this economy, it bugs the hell out of me because that's from my mid-40s to now into my mid-60s, latter part of 60s. Many of you who are 40 years of age now, 45 now, you were 20 years old when the interest rate suppression game began. When we saw the lowest of the low rates kick in, was about 20 years ago. And so for any of you who are now in your 40s, you have never, ever been part as an adult of a ridiculously high interest rate world. And if you think it's high now, you are kidding yourself. We are at what we used to call normal. Those of us who've been around just my age, we look at 5% interest rates, 7% rates, getting 4% on your money on a savings account, or getting 5% on a GIC or a 6% GIC. This is normal. This was very normal for a long time. And the world at large functioned quite fine, quite reasonably with these kinds of numbers. We would expect inflation to be 3 to 7%. We would expect our interest rates on credit cards to be 20+%. We expected our mortgages to be 5 to 8%. We expected car loans to be 6 to 9%. Personal line of credit, like a top-notch credit line for a person, would have been 6, 5%, 4.5% would be unbelievable. That was normal, completely normal. Government spending was always in the deficit, normal. Don't get fooled out there. If you're only 45 or less, we never had balanced budgets in our lifetimes. Where I come from, I remember in the 60s and the 70s, we started going into deficit financing, and it went hog wild crazy in the 70s because we went off what was called the gold standard. And all that meant was, instead of borrowing capital as a country against gold reserves that you had, we decided as countries through our central bankers that we would borrow money based on the size of our gross domestic product, the value of a country's industrial output and trading ability. And so countries that didn't sit on a lot of gold but could trade a lot, could move money around a lot, were all of a sudden deemed to be more creditworthy than countries that had gold reserves but no industrial output. All right. Bad news for South Africa, gold producer. Great news for Germany, Switzerland, well, Switzerland had gold. Great news for countries with a lot of industrial output, Japan, Indonesia eventually, and other countries. In any event, countries around the world have gold. Okay, don't get me wrong. Gold is always around. Gold doesn't evaporate into thin air, and countries have massive gold reserves all over the place. But the real value of the credit markets has to do with GDP. We always hear about this gross domestic product, GDP, industrial output. This is why it is so important. Everybody watches the growth of the economy, unemployment, hiring, firing, factory add-ons, job creation, trade statistics, import, export, currency moves. The whole world in the 70s began to basically pay attention to one big picture of GDP going forward rather than reserves of assets. Because assets are assets, activity is wealth. And so after the early 70s and beyond, the credit world evolved dramatically, and that started to open up all kinds of possibilities for international financing, international deal making, and now governments, national governments, became obsessed and very interested in creating import-export arrangements with other countries so that a business in Canada would feel comfortable dealing with a business in America, which would feel comfortable in turn dealing with businesses in the UK and in Europe and in Asia, and vice versa, North America, South America, Africa, and everything else. And the countries that got on board with this program did extremely well financially, and it upped the standard of living of their citizens. Canada was on board, America was on board, most of the G20, our European players, and China, not China, but Japan for sure, got on board this game plan. South Korea got on board, and look at where all the world's where many of the world's skyscrapers were built in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Look at where infrastructure was built. Look at where factories were, and look at the standard of living of people. Now, America is an outlier and a leader, and is a country that has lost a lot of factories since the 60s and 70s, and yet the American standard of living went up from the 60s, 70s, and 80s to where we are today. Although some will argue, oh, it was better back then. Don't buy that. The amazing thing too is the cost of services and goods. If you ever go Google searching sometime and you look up advertisements from the 70s, and it'll tell you what, you look at like car ads. How much was a car in 1975? How much was a ticket to Europe by jet plane in 1975? Adjust those numbers for inflation forward to today, and now you'll see what prices really were like for certain things. A phone call, a telephone call between your home in middle of America to somewhere else in the United States might have run you a long distance call 10 cents to $1 a minute. A phone call between Canada, US to Europe would have run $2 to $5 a minute per minute. I remember when I was in my 20s, we used to, Jennifer and I, we used to time our telephone calls to my parents from Western Canada to Eastern Canada. I would time the telephone call to my mom and dad to say hi on a Sunday, 6 o'clock in the evening or later, because after 6 p.m. the telephone rates went down dramatically. There would be weekday rates, weekend rates, and evening rates. And so a lot of phone calls would be made between relatives and friends after 6 p.m. to get the lowest rate. So for me to phone my parents on a Sunday afternoon might run me $1.50 a minute. But if I wait until after 6 o'clock, it's 25 cents a minute. And even then, my parents would be concerned as to how long we were talking on the telephone. Because they said, it's been 5 minutes. You've already spent $1.50 just to talk to me. I go, yeah, you're worth the money, Mom, Dad. You're worth the money to talk to. Until we went to long distance was free. Because can you imagine now on one of these things, the plans that you guys have, unlimited calling. I mean, I have unlimited calling on this anywhere practically in the world. I mean, not every single country, but certainly between Canada and US, there's no charge for me to make these calls. For my European friends, much reduced. It's incredible. I mean, the satellite launching and whatnot. So the world has evolved dramatically from a technical point of view, but also mathematically, it has evolved dramatically. That's what I'm trying to get at with this future of money, where credit is going, where it's been, and where it's headed, and where we're at. Now, you are being bombarded out there, all of you, as am I, and will be for the rest of our natural lives. There are people out there who are trying to get reelected in office. And I don't care what level we're talking about. It doesn't matter. From school board members to librarians to sheriffs to judges to state houses, government, national, it doesn't matter. And they're going to use fear to get your vote. That's the key. They're going to use fear. And this is a game that has been played all the time. It's been used all the time. Will never end. And the pollsters out there say the public always falls for it. So there you have it. The results are the results. And for some politicians, they only need to get 20% of the vote to become elected, because everyone knows going in, pollsters of politicians and voters, they know that only half the voters are going to show up. Maybe 55% of voters are going to show up to vote. So all you need is 50% of half the voters to get into office. So you need a quarter of the public to believe in you, and you're elected, and you're undefeatable. And so these opinion polls that you see on television and on you hear about on radio, or you see on the internet, where they say to you, oh yes, 65% of people believe this and believe that. Forget the polls, because of those people surveyed, they're not voting. Only half of them are going to vote. And so the numbers are pointless. It's a matter of voting day. Who can score 20 to 30% of the gross vote, of the gross numbers out there? That's who's running the show. And so a lot of folks out there are going to use fear to get elected. And the fear mongering they use, inflation, higher interest rates, and then the boogeyman. Banks are the enemy. Big corporations are the enemy. Unions are the enemy. Divide and conquer is what it's how you play it out. It's just divide and conquer. Anyway, so that's also what's out there. It affects markets. And we're up now 70 points, by the way. Here on this channel, let's talk about something that affected this channel in the last week. And I think rather positively, and I welcome all of you who are here already. It's great to see you. Thank you for the thumbs ups, if you're hitting the thumbs ups, by the way. I did a class a week ago Saturday on iron condors. We talked about how you can trade and put option positions together on stocks, on indexes, and a number of you out there began to try to trade iron condors last week. And I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all was well. And then Thursday, the market started moving downward, and Friday, it gyrated like crazy. And so some of you were running into some issues. Some of you made some adjustments. Some of you did really well. Some of you got frustrated with how these markets moved. And we've come through the first week. And I welcome all of you to the real world, where we can talk theoretically about writing covered calls, cash secured puts, poor man covered calls, and everything else, including iron condors. The actual trading of such, of whatever it is you want to do in the option world, is different than theory. There's the real world and there's the theoretical world. And here we are today, Monday, the 7th of August. And I know a number of you have condors that are expiring today, tomorrow, Wednesday, depending on what indexes you're writing on. And also this Friday, a bunch of you have condor positions out there. So you're keenly interested in how the market is moving. Where's the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and where are your favorite stocks headed? Now you care about the micro rather than the macro. And if you care about the micro, you have to care about the news of the day. And this is why I talk about the interest rate factor, the inflation factor, the bond market. You got to pay attention to all of these factors that can affect the twitchiness of the stock market and the equity market and the currency market, and so on and so on and so on. So welcome to the party, pal. Those of you who've become iron condor players. I know that for a lot of you, it has opened up the option market like you've never seen it before. You've never been able to be involved in Tesla shares through a stock option scenario. You've never been involved and able to play Adobe stock or Amazon or Google, Apple, Microsoft, on and on goes the list. Now, nothing is off the table. All of a sudden, any stock out there that you have an interest in, you can now take a look at it from an iron condor view and decide whether or not this works for you. Some of the impressions that I've received, some of the reaction I've had come to me from a number of you has told me, or is making me want to mention to you, that if you're going to be an iron condor creator and writer and investor, you really want to be sitting on spreads that are much wider than you may have thought going in. Some of you out there were thinking, well, Bruce, on the SPY index, for example, I'll be, $4 or $5 ahead and $4 or $5 below the index for my calls and my puts. And you found out on Thursday, Friday, that's not enough range to protect you against sudden moves. The odd thing is people are going, well, wait a minute, like the S&P right now is only up 15 points, Bruce. That's only $1.50 on an SPY. So if I'm $2 or $3 ahead of that and $2 or $3 below that, that's $5, $6. Should be a lot of range. Friday alone, the SPYs went from 446.20 to 452.90. So we're talking about $6.60 range between low and high on Friday. We had come down on Thursday to this level already. The thinking was for some folks, we wouldn't break 450 at all. We wouldn't even break 450. Well, we did. And for the high, 459 has been the high watermark for the SPYs. We're now at 448. So we're 11 under, and that means we're still within 11 points of the all-time high. And so the question is, going in, if you're going to write an iron Condor on SPY, an ETF, an SPY ETF, should you keep in mind the 459 all-time high, and what should be the low range for your iron Condor trade? And of course, the trick of it is the shorter amount of time you want to create a Condor for. In other words, the contracts that you're writing and buying are expiring in 2 days, 3 days, super short expiry time. You're not going to get mega premiums in. On the other hand, you don't have to be exposed as long to the fluctuating market. It's a trade-off. The further out you go in time, you can establish a larger range between the high and the low of your calls and your puts. But again, the further out you go, the difference of credits available to you and risk factors. Those of you who've done iron Condors this past week have figured out a couple of things very quickly. And again, we covered this in the class. Number one, you can set the range. You're the one making the call. I'm going to set my SPYs at 440 on the low end and 455 on the high end. That's the range. Now I'm going to find the expiry date that fits this range, that gives me what I want. And what is it you want? A credit to create the position. And the other thing you figured out and you understand now is you can control how much capital you're risking on the transaction from the difference in value between a call that you write and a call you buy, or a put you write and a put you buy. The difference in value between those two is actually your risk factor. It's not the spread. It's the spread at the high end and the low end that you are also creating. Now, that will affect a credit position coming in. If you're going to write a 455 call on an SPY, and then you're going to buy a 460 call above it, that's a $5 spread on an iron Condor position. And if you're $5 spread on the bottom end, on the put side, you have now got a $500 risk level on the top or the bottom of your spread. If the credit you brought in is $200, then it's a $300 net risk to you per position. So if you do write one call, buy one call, write one put, buy one put, that's a position, and you're at risk perhaps $300 with a $5 spread. If the spreads on the top and the bottom, you shrink them down to $3 on each side, the premium credit will be less to you, but the risk is less to you. And so now, instead of bringing in $2 in credit, you're bringing in $1 in credit. Again, this is theoretical. Bringing in $1 credit with a $3 spread, you've reduced your risk now to $200 a position. And of course, if you go $1 out and $1 out on the top and the bottom, your credit will be very small. It might be 50 cents, 40 cents. It might be 70 cents. I don't know. There'll be a very slight credit, but there's a very slight risk. And now it's a matter of, well, how many do I write? If I can write one Condor position with a $500 margin requirement versus the same another Condor position with a risk factor, a margin requirement of $200, I can write 2.5 as many with the same amount of money. So if I've got 10 grand to invest here, to work with, I have 10 grand, I could write 20 calls and puts on with a $500 margin, or I could do 50 with only 200. I don't recommend you max yourself out. I'm just using theoretical numbers here. All of you are figuring out, okay, Bruce, I get it. This iron condor thing really is interesting in that I can limit the risk on the top and the bottom end. I can set the spread and I can set the timing. You are the casino. I mean, think about this. And as a casino owner, I would recommend to you the further the spread, the better. The tighter the top and the bottom, the better. If it's a smaller credit, but a lower commitment in capital to create, then you can write more. Your thinking might be, I'm only going to do a Condor, Bruce. I want to do a Condor position where I write enough contracts, I create enough contracts here that I will clear $500 to $1,000 to me. That's what I'm looking for. I want to clear $500 to $1,000 during the week on a Condor position. That's your overall kind of game plan. You now have to do some shopping to find out which entity you're going to write the Condor on. You may have already you've picked your victim. You already know the stock or the index. You're then going to figure out the timing, the spread on the top end and the spread on the Condor. And then the final decision is, how many am I going to create? How many do I have to create to get the return I want? Because if I only get a 70-cent credit on creating a Condor position, that's $70 for one of each contract. I'd like to walk out this week with $1,000 profit. You're going to have to write 15 of those, ballpark. With commissions, you're going to have to write 15. Can you afford to write 15, create 15 Condor positions based on the margin requirement? And are you comfortable with the risk on the top end and on the bottom end? That will determine how you write it. This is the slot machine you're creating. This is a slot machine that you've set up, and here are the rules for the players. Now go forth and multiply, and now see what happens. You're finding out also that the beauty of writing Condors, being involved in Condor investing in the SPYs or the triple Qs or on Apple or on Tesla, phenomenal liquidity, incredibly good liquidity, especially close in, because many of you are realizing, I don't want to write 3-week Condors. I want to write 1 week or less Condors. I want this Friday to be expiry day on my Condors. Or for your index options, you may want only a 48-hour exposure, or you want an exposure until the end of the day today. You only want to write a Condor this morning that dies this afternoon. You may find that you're going to close out your Condor position well before the close of the day, because you're constantly monitoring the credit you received coming in versus the cost of closing out your position during the session today or tomorrow or Wednesday. And you may find that with a day to go, 6 hours to go, day and a half to go, 2 days to go, this Friday's expiry date is meaningless to you. You may close out your Tesla Condor position this Wednesday morning, this Wednesday afternoon, because the credit received, gross amount in, you can keep a good chunk of that. You're quite happy with that return. You shut down the Condor, reverse all the transactions out, and you now look at creating your next Condor for either the next week or what have you. That's the other beauty of this position and this strategy. You call the shot for how long this game lasts and what the rules are of the game. Welcome everybody to the show. We're opening up in 29 minutes today. We are a little stronger on the market now. 115-point gain on the Dow, 19 on S&P, 85 on NASDAQ. The Spire S&P 500 ETF trust is now at 448.68, up 187 this morning. On Friday, it was 446 to 452.90, and here we are at 448.70. You can see how things fluctuate pre-market and during the day itself. Last week, there was like a $10, $11 spread, even $12 spread on the SPYs from lows to high. You saw the spreads on your other favorite stocks. We've gone through most of the earnings now on some of the biggest issues, the Apples of the world, the Microsofts. The banks have come out. We still have more earnings coming, but most of the earnings are for the largest corporations have been done. I think tomorrow we get earnings for some of our SPACs. We'll be on top of that. We'll watch for that as well. Welcome all to the show this morning. Thank you for these thumbs ups. Hawkeye, Maria, Home Skillet, Karen, Thank you to Nazareth. Charlie, great to see you. Those darn spiders on Friday. Welcome all to the gang. Those of you who have become members in the last week or two, thank you so much. Travis, good morning. TJ, how you doing? Touchgrass is here. There's Amy, of course. Matthew's here. Lorraine, as always, is here. Splair's in the house. Wing Commander, how you doing, everybody? See all kinds of very familiar and friendly names. It's great to see you who are here for the show. Bobby saying, Uncle Bruce, 4 of the SPACs are reporting this week. We got Rocket Lab reporting, 23andMe, SmartRent, and Spire all on August 8th. That's tomorrow. So appreciate that. We'll keep an eye on those. Dude, number 77 here. Spire August 9th, says Bobby. Beach Boy, what's up? What's up, Beach Boy? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Bobby Atkinson, Matterport August the 8th. We've got a very active week this week in that sense. See how things kind of work out. Up 100 points on the Dow, 18 S&P, 81 NASDAQ, oil down 68 cents a barrel is where we're at right now. All right, there's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Welcome one and all to the show this morning. I see SoFi up 4 cents so far. That is the latest there. Let me go to the watch list and take a look at some pre-market trading just to kind of familiarize ourselves with where we're at. Rocket Lab is up 4 cents at 688. We got SoFi up 3 to 953. We got GameStop up 12 to 2110. Matterport up about a penny, 318 or so. 23andMe is at $1.78. It's ahead by 3 cents. Spire 70 cents up 2. ATI Physical Therapy unchanged at 750. We got SmartRent at 385, I guess, up about a penny. Apple is up 50 cents. Goldman is up $1.75 this morning. Cisco is up by 9. Tesla down 125. ARC Innovations down 32 cents, dropped 81 cents on Friday. It's up 32 this morning, 45.71 on ARC. Microsoft up 171, was up 112 on Friday. Pfizer is down 2 cents. HPQ up a dime. Google is up 84 at 129.38. Amazon is up 130 at 140.94. They had a good week last week, of course. $10 gain on Friday. And NVIDIA was up 160 on Friday. It's up 455 this morning to 451 now. Unity is up 22 cents. C3.ai Inc. lost $1.48 on Friday. It's up 36 this morning at 38.16. Adobe gained 312 Friday, and it's up 501 this morning. And right now, the Spider 500 was down $2.03 Friday. It's now up 170 this morning. And that's what we have to start the session. Welcome one and all to the party. It's great to have you here, and we'll see where things come out. There's a lot of speculation going on about what's up with Apple now. Now that they've come out and they did their report, and we've noticed that Apple sales were down about 1%. But the analysts have said, yeah, but have you looked at the numbers? They made more money. They actually made a bigger profit on lower sales because their margins are so damn high. And this is the success of Apple for, the last 25, 30 years, the phenomenal margins that they're able to retain because of the innovation of the company. This set of products, this merchandise they keep cranking out is so adored by the public. No one can come up with an Apple killer product, and these guys are ahead of the innovation curve, or they're trying to be ahead of the innovation curve with every new iteration of the phone or of the MacBook Pro, which is what I use here, or my big S iPad. They're constantly coming up with new features and new designs, and of course, Apple services. This area of the apps, the Apple App Store, Maps, and everything else, there's so much built-in cash flow coming into this company, because every time a new customer grabs a product, an Apple product, they start using Apple services. and Apple services just keeps on rolling with very, very high margins. And this company is more profitable on a per dollar basis, even though they're not selling as many phones as before. Interesting. Now, eventually, there will come up an inflection point. What is it? Is the inflection point going to be that if they lose another 1% for the next 1 or 2 or 3 more quarters of sales, then earnings will start to slump, or will they reach a point where they've kind of stopped dropping sales because people who put off getting a new iPhone now want to get the new iPhone? They're now 3 generations behind or 2 generations behind on the phone rather than just one. Some people get the new phone as soon as the new phone's out, they got to have it. Others are, well, when I can get an iPhone 15 for super cheap, like I bought my iPhone 11 for, I'll go to the 15. Well, the 17 or so might be out at that point. Sooner or later, there comes an inflection point where more buyers come in for Apple product than there will be non-buyers, and you have a gain in sales. The other thing, of course, is Apple's prices don't go down. Notice that? You notice Apple really doesn't discount their merchandise to any great extent. It's the merchants that offer the product on behalf of Apple, like the cell phone providers. They're the ones giving you the deals of deals. Take the phone with a plan, unlimited this, all-inclusive that, all built into your new 2-year phone plan. That's how you do it. As long as this continues, nothing stops. Now, interest rates, the question is, what will hit Apple hardest if rates keep rising up a little more? What if inflation doesn't slump later this year because of these labor contracts and everything else? What if the Fed has to raise rates another 0.5 point next year and go to 6%, and we get interest rates to the public at 8 to 10%? What about the phone? What about the computers? What about these financing deals that have been put together by by marketing entities to get you this product? Won't that eventually stop it too? Will that not hurt sales of this product? If this telephone is $1,500 and I have to buy it over 2 years on a phone plan, we're talking $60-something a month in principal, just principal alone to pay this thing off. $600 a year is $720 times 2 is $1,440. That's not quite the $1,500 phone. You see what I'm getting at? $63 a month, $65 a month, and then interest. What if the interest rate is going to be 10% on this deal, built into the deal? I might have to pay $75 a month just on the telephone for financing it and paying it off in 2 years. I can't finance this for 10 years. This won't last 10 years. Isn't that the amazing thing about this device? Now, this one is now, I think, 3 or 4 years old, and I've long paid for it, and it works just fine. But then again, I'm not taking it on hikes in the Rocky Mountains and going biking with it and rollerblading downtown. I'm 67 and I drop it once in a while, but it drops on the carpeted floor here, not on the sidewalk. So far so good, knock on wood. But I can't finance this for 5 years. I have to finance it for 2. Like anyone else in Canada, 2-year plans is as far as you can go on financing. Interesting, if this product keeps going up in price and interest rates keep going up, what happens now? This is a high-end product. Do you shake me out of an Apple, or I'm only going to go from I think this is the 11. I'm only going to go from an 11 to a 13 or to a 14 when the 15 and the 16 come out. Is that what happens with me? Maybe. We'll see. We speculate about what's going on. Welcome. What else is going on here? I'm a slacker, says Dean. Don't forget, I forgot to click the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up button for us. Thank you, everybody. John Anderson saying hello, everybody. Spire Algebras, I have a question already because of class number 8. Does it make sense actually to look into SoFi credit spreads? Otherwise, I still have to rewatch and make notes, or maybe there's a 1 or 2 questions more. Yeah, I might have to answer that on an email. Bobby, Spire has until September to make the reverse split ratio. I'd expect they will talk about that on August the 9th. as for at least into puts and in not to call. Stephen Carney, good morning. Number 83. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome, sir. Larry Titus, good morning, everybody. I am number 75 on that thumbs up meter. Thank you, my friend. Spire, they should create an iPhone Slim for half price with the same features. White Feather, I have a $38 Android phone from Walmart. Guess I'm not one of those cool kids. Bobby, I bet Canada brings back the third-year contracts again. And Spire, I'm a Sony fan. Johnny, long it takes for Spire. How long it takes for Spire will be delisted, because then I can no longer trade that stock, only selling because of the law here. Not sure quite what that means. The key here is that Spire is going to have to do a rollback to maintain their listing requirement on the exchange. Are they going to do a 10 for 1? The stock's around 65, 70 cents. They do a 10 for 1 and it's $6.50 to $7 after that. And even if the shares slump to the 5 level, they're well within the dollar plus range. Is that it? Does Spire come out with their report here and say, actually, we have more news than just the split? We've arranged additional financing, or we're going to do the split and then bring in $100 million cash into the company from our main lender, who's going to take the stock after the split, and that's going to wipe out our debt, and that's going to completely redo our finances. I mean, I don't know. Is there a partner? Is there an amalgamation? Is there something? We'll find out hopefully really soon, like in the next day or 2 or 3 or 4. I'm waiting. You're waiting. We're all waiting. There it is. Okay. Lorraine, Uncle Bruce, you have a business. Get a new phone. Both me and my husband have 2 phones. Get an Android phone. Lorraine, 2 phones each. Oh my gosh. Johnny, okay, thank you, Uncle B. Anyway, talking about Spire and talking about ATIP. What's going on with ATIP? On Spire, they don't need to be refinanced per se. Spire will likely do some kind of a rollover, something. ATIP has already done their stock rollback. What I'm waiting for on ATIP is a new business reorganization. On Spire, I'm waiting for the announcement of whatever rollover they're doing, and they just keep bringing out contracts. When do they become profitable? They're close. They're zeroing in on profitability, but again, they gotta talk, and they gotta talk dollars. I know they love to tell us, oh, we just signed a contract with the Astrological Society of blah, blah, blah. We just signed a contract with the Weather Service with We've just signed this. But no dollars. We don't know how much money we're talking about. We're in the dark here. Rocket Lab Thoughts, same thing. They're about to turn a profit, and I'm curious about how they're doing on that asset acquisition of what was it, Virgin Orbit's assets they bought for pennies on the dollar. Is that a done deal? Did that go through? Like, I don't know. So yeah, how about Rocket Lab? Sky High Kite, does the current price of Spire suggest the market believes they will run out of cash before Spire becomes profitable? I doubt that's the key there. Deep Value, UBS raised price target of Wayfair to 111. Spire, but what should he do with it? I think he has no business calls on his telephone. Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, I don't need a bunch of telephones. One will be fine. Sure, we're just fine. Yeah, interesting stuff. My goodness, what do we got for time? So 14 minutes to go. I was watching with great interest a podcast that it's a televised podcast. A young couple have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to remember the name of the darn thing. I can't remember. Anyway, they had guests on. They had Kara and Nate on as guests. And those of you who've been here a while, I'm a fan of a YouTube channel called Kara and Nate. Kara is Kara, Nate, Nate. Young couple, 32 years old now, roughly, traveling the world, have been for 7 years. Their objective 7 years ago was to visit 100 countries. and they were doing it through points and savings that they had done, credit card points and so on. And they became YouTubers during this whole ordeal. And for 2 years, they traveled and spent money. And then in the third year, they started making more money than they were spending while on the road. And they hit their 100th country in their 4th year and hit 1 million subscribers at the same time. And that channel has been a huge inspiration to me as a YouTuber, because I'm following them as a creator, and I have been very inspired by their whole journey. And then, of course, they had to survive COVID. I had to survive COVID. You had to survive COVID. And now here we are post-COVID, and we continue on. And these two now have 3.7 million subscribers. And they're in another world entirely. And I am so proud of them. I'm so envious. I'm not envious. I am proud of them because they have gotten the reward from a ton of work that they've done. Anyway, I got to watch the two of them be interviewed for over 1 hour and 20 minutes by another couple to talk about their lives and their journey. And it made me reflect on my journey as a YouTuber, which brings you guys into the story. Because when I think about my journey as a YouTuber with 2 channels, I think about my followers of both of my channels and where Jennifer and I are at now in our lives and with this career. And in 5 days, I will be celebrating 6 years of YouTube creation time, because I started my travel channel in 2017. And excuse me. And here we are now in 2023, 6 years in, coming up on the first channel. And then this channel started in 2020. I think I started this channel, if I got it right. And it's just been an unbelievable journey. And Jen and I are getting ready for a European trip this year, which will be so much different than last year's trip for us, because last year was the first time in years we got out to get out. We had been to California the previous winter. We got to travel last summer to the UK and Europe, but we traveled last year where Jennifer could hardly walk. And this year, Jen can walk. And we are very excited and very hopeful that this will be a very different getaway for us as we get to see some more sights this year and not be stuck in the hotel room, just going from day to day and traveling from spot to spot. Very excited about it, and it's because of the channels. If my YouTube channels weren't doing what they are doing, we wouldn't be leaving town. I mean, not a chance. So thank you to all of you who are loyal to this channel right here. Also those, of course, on TWB, Traveling with Bruce. So appreciative of everything. Hopefully many of you are getting more out of the channel that I'm getting out of it from this end. If you're doing well in the markets, I couldn't be more thrilled. If I have helped any of you find ways to enhance revenues and change your financial life and track, I couldn't be more thrilled. I know of a number of my viewers who've done well, but there are many, 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 many people who've been here and are here who don't talk to me very often, and they don't ever speak publicly. They're very, very private, and have done just fine. And I do get messages from some of those folks in private ways, and I thank you, all of you, for your continued those of you reaching out to Jen and I, and whether it's here on the channel or whether it's through emails and through one-on-ones. I also, of course, get reports from my website whenever a class is picked up, and I see familiar names there that I don't see here. Again, it shows that there's a following of what we're talking about and what's going on, and I'm really glad it's having a difference to those of you out there. So again, thank you all. for 6 years coming up of YouTube creating time. Unbelievable. And of course I thank Kara Nate, and I thank Casey Neistat, and I thank a zillion other creators out there that have inspired me for over, in some cases, all 6 years or beyond 6 years. I've been a YouTube watcher myself for probably 15 years now. I've been on at least 15. I've been watching YouTube, maybe longer. And to think that I'm a creator myself is just mind-numbing to me. It's incredible, and I feel fortunate to have a great audience of regulars hanging out with me all the time. We've just shifted to member-only commentary. Thank you, lurkers, for being here. Please subscribe to this channel if you're just watching casually. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the thumbs up button if you can. We have 105 coming through here with 7 minutes to go before we start the market, the show here. We're about to get started on trading. We'll find out how the markets react. Thank you all for your kind words out there and your messages. It's just great. Looking so forward to seeing you folks. Some of you folks, we're going to get together. It's October 21. It's a Saturday. Probably going to be like, I don't know, from like noon until 5 o'clock or something like that. I have to arrange a meeting room right now with the one hotel we're going to be staying at. That call could be today or tomorrow. I will try to get that done and then give you the lowdown as to where, when, and how long and all that stuff. And we'll see if we can see each other in person, which will be just great. These one-on-ones, these meet and greets, I look forward to. For those of you in Europe, we'll catch up with some of you guys, perhaps. There might be the opportunity where we can find a way to get together. We'll get into that a little later on. As I say, we are excited. I've just been working on a bunch of hotel reservations this past weekend. We bought ourselves, Jen and I got ourselves a Eurorail pass again this year. So we've now got that nailed down and some reservations made again. And so we're figuring out the itinerary of this trip coming up. And as I said, last year, we went from about, mid-May until mid-July last year. And Jennifer was very limited in her mobility. And this year, we have a whole different Jennifer on the go. And we're both very excited about just how amazingly different things that have happened for her mobility-wise, because she had the hip replaced right at the end of the year, 29th of December, just right around New Year's. And here we are in August, 8 months later, a whole different person, no medication required, no pain pills, nothing. And up and about, it's the little things that really have made the biggest difference, the littlest things that have made a huge difference in our lives. And I'm stoked about that. Anyway, there you go. Seeing a headline here, Tesla's chief executive officer leaving company after 13 years. And we have data coming up this week, CPI, PPI, jobless claims, consumer business confidence coming up this week. As usual, every week we have stats coming through. We will be opening the market in 4 minutes, so stick around for that. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Home skill, I'm putting in stinkers for $35 AI cash secured puts. And I would love to see traveling videos from Uncle Bruce. Even Canada is interesting for Europeans. Who cares? Says, good morning, all. White Feather, finding you and this channel has been a true blessing for me. Thank you, my friend. Lorraine, Uncle Bruce, your channel may be small, but you have some very good followers. I really like the friendship I have from Discord. I have never seen some of the followers, but I feel the bond I have with them. Spire, I found until now 3 restaurants, but I think only one goes in the direction you asked for. We'll contact you through email. We're gonna see Spire in Dortmund. There's no doubt about that. We're going for a bite to eat, and it's German food or nothing. DQ. Number 112 thumbs ups. Thank you, DQ. Appreciate you for that. As always, thank you guys for being here. 114 thumbs ups now are in the house. They're coming through. Thank you all. Congratulations to those of you who have become members of this channel in the last few weeks. Quite a number of you have upgraded your membership level from regular member to gold level member. Remember, Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern time, not that logo. For Gold Bagel members, we will be live, primetime live. There it is, Gold Bagel level. We'll be live at 6 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday night, as usual, for the Gold Bagel member primetime live with Uncle Bruce. We'll be talking Condors and everything else, of course, on that show. Thank you all for popping in. We are opening up in a couple of minutes. Larry Titus will hit the bells for us, and away we go. And thanks again for all your support. The final recap on the pre-market: the Dow's up 117, it would appear. 18.5 gain on S&P. NASDAQ looks like it's up 83 points. The spiders are at 448.50, up 169 right now. So far this morning. Oil down 55 cents a barrel at this point. And it says here Tesla shares have turned lower because the CFO or CEO is leaving. CFO. Tesla is down 287 at 251, down from 253 on Friday. And Friday we were down 546. So add the two together, 748, 830. $8.30 loss in the last 24 trading hours on Tesla at the moment. We'll see how long this goes, how deep it is. Adobe's up 412, AI up 27 cents, Unity up 4, NVIDIA up 394, Amazon up 140, Google up $1 going into the opening. Apple up 34 cents, Goldman up $2, Cisco up 22 cents. And we're getting ready to start trading here in just a moment. Larry Titus is about to hit the thumbs up. SoFi is at 951 at the moment. All right. Thank you all for joining in today. And let's see what this market has going here. We'll keep an eye. All right, I got Spire working. Larry, hey, buddy, thank you, my friend, for the bells. Appreciate that. We're up, we're running, we're open. Let's find out what this market wants to do today. How much richer are you guys getting today with this market? Welcome one and welcome all to the party. It is Monday, August the 7th, 2023, and we are up for trading right now. 170-point gain at the moment on the Dow. Let's see how that plays out. DQ says, thank you, Larry Titus. Larry is hitting thumbs ups here. Let's see. What else we got here? Rock on, everybody. Thank you, Larry from Spire. Spire wants to know, anybody know your total bank account number without looking into it? I'm not sure what he means by that. Anyway, thank you. Welcome, sir, and welcome all. 200-point gain on the Dow to start the run here. That'll moderate, I'm sure. See how it all works out. We've got the SPYs up 187 to 448.68. Let's go with a refresh here, see where we're at now. 449.19 on the SPY. So it's definitely moved up, as is the market. So that is no surprise. That's what we should be getting, a little bit of an uptick. All righty. Triple Qs are up 244. GameStop is up 4 cents. SoFi up 3. AI looks to be down a dime. Now 19 cents lower. NVIDIA up 6.97. Rocket Lab down a penny. Matterport down 4 cents. SmartRent down 2. What else do we have going on here? Unity down 7. Tesla down $1. Nothing serious now. Apple off 84 cents. Google up 127. Moderna down $2 to 106.09. We got Cisco up 40, Pfizer up 2 cents, IBM up 83, HPQ up 26, Microsoft up $2, Amazon up 98 cents, Home Depot up 165, Vanik up 152, Netflix up 487, Adobe up 293, Goldman up 305, Boeing up $3. We have a snapback rally going on this morning. Meta up 3, Target up 77, JP Morgan up 124, Costco up $3. Walmart up $1, Disney up 49 cents, and American Airlines up a nickel. DraftKings up 37 cents to 32.11. So there you are. Let's see what we got here. Wing Commander, Uncle Bruce, my Iron Condors from last week, expiry, worthless, 10 contracts total. That sounds good. That sounds very good. You may want to just close those out and establish a new position with a different expiry date. You figure it out. Might be the same expiry date with new positions. But when you can lock in worthless contracts, and there's days to go, shut it down now and pay a commission to get it out, and then get ready for your next position. Nicely done, Wing Commander. Well done indeed. 244 gain on the Dow now. We are got a nice opening here. That's all right. Certainly wasn't showing this in the pre-market. We're only up 105, 115 points. And for a lot of the pre-market, we were only up 35 to 40 points all morning. So this is a nice little snapback, up 0.75% on the Dow. S&P is up 0.58 of a percentage point, 25-point gain. That puts the spiders at 449.36, up 258. We've got NASDAQ up 47 points, a third of a point, and a third of a percentage point. Oil down 44 cents a barrel. There you have it. Little pop up. Not surprising to see this pop up. We had a little sell off that might have been a bit too aggressive. I think we had 3 weeks on a down dip and now a little pop up this morning. But how long will it last? How far will it go? That's the question. So far, this is what we have. Let's see. Amy it says to Wing Commander, nice going. Well done. How are you doing on your Condors? How are your Condors doing this morning that are going to die later this week? I would imagine this little pop-up is helping a number of you on your Condor positions. We got GameStop now +9, SoFi at 9.46 down a nickel, AI down 67 cents at 37.13. So opportunities to do cash secured put writing there if you want. Or you're going to do Condors on AI between 32, 42 or 40 to 43, depends. NVIDIA 454.03 up 7.23 today. Rocket Lab down a penny. Matterport down 1.5 cents. Smart Rent down 1.5 cents. Very quiet on these stocks. We're down 36 cents on Unity. We've got Google up 134 now. Apple down 140. Moderna down 246. Cisco up 35 cents. Pfizer down 3. IBM up 115, which is now 145.39 on IBM. Isn't that something? Wing Commander, for this week, I have a bunch of Iron Condors that expire tomorrow. And on Wednesday, I've got triple Qs, 368, 369 to 381.82, and we're at 373. Very good position. They expire in a couple of days. 368, 373.81 expiring tomorrow. Very interesting. You're right in there. 16 contracts in total. Right on, Wing Commander. I know you'll be watching this very closely. You will see serious shrinkage of your contracts as the day wears on here for these contracts that die tomorrow. The shrinkage will be happening. Of course, those 381.83s, I am certain they are really down. You might be wanting to move those calls back to 379, 378, depending on how the market reacts in the next 20, 30 minutes. You'll determine whether you want to bring your calls a little closer and bring in some more premium on those calls. Interesting. We've got Home Skillet. My AI stinkers for September. I got 420 a contract for 35s. Nice going September calls. That is phenomenal premiums on $35 AI stock. Wow, dude! I just closed one of my SPY Iron Condors. I wrote it Friday for a 95% return on premium. That's a 14% return on a $500 capital requirement in 4 days. Giddy up, Iron Condor writers. A Wing Commander, Spiders, SPY 442, 444 to 454 to 456, expiring tomorrow and on Wednesday. And again, we're at 449.40. So these right in the range. Beautiful. 10 contracts. What do you think of the spread, Uncle B? I like it. 442, 444, and 4. Yeah, I like the spread. I like this. Yeah, you're looking really good. Zed Estate, Uncle Bruce, I have 200 shares of AI at a cost of $40. Please suggest a covered call contract. What are your thoughts? You could certainly look at covered call. AI right now, 37.34. See how the market reacts in the next hour. See if this is a first hour sell down, and then we have a response, pop the other way. That might give you the opportunity to write 40 to 42s, perhaps going forward a little bit in time. You want to get your hands on premium. I mean, that's the name of the game here. Get the contract gamblers to give you ungodly amounts of money to try to get your stock off of you is the name of this game right now. Let's take a look here on options. We're still down 58 cents on the stock. And if we take a look at, let's take a look at October's I'm just taking a look at October. 40s are 6 to 620, 42.50s, 520, 540, 45s are 450 to 470. So if this stock pops a little bit today, if it pops up through 38 and a half, if it could do that, you might want to look at 45s and try to bring in 5.5 on 45s. That means you're offering your stock net at $50 plus. Not a bad move. Again, those are October calls. Not too far out, not too close in. Might be worth your while. Just a thought. Then on September expiry, let's say the third Friday, the 15th of September, 45s right now, 330, 345, 40s are 475 to 490. So, those $45 calls for October, that'd be a nice hit there if you take that tack right there. Again, you're offering stock at 45 and saying, come and get me. Come up here and get me if you want me. Interesting. We'll see what gives. Down 77 right now. SoFi down just 4 cents at 9.46. Volume on SoFi 2.3 million. 9 minutes into the session. Quiet. Not overly powerful morning yet. We are at 281 now on the Dow. We're ahead 281. Welcome everybody to the show this morning. Nice to have you all here with us. Okay, and we've got triple Q's up 157, SPY's 449.29. The S&P is up 26 points, Nasdaq up 45, oil down 54 cents. All right, there's our early morning run. And you Iron Condor riders out there, make sure you have a nice range. If you're far out on the call end, you might want to bring your calls in a little bit, or you buy back a call and write a closer in to the money call for more money into your account. Move your call, the long call with you. Increase your credit position on this Condor trade if you can. If the contracts shrink as the day wears on today, you'll look at this afternoon, tomorrow morning. You might make adjustments, you might not. Your objective is to be sitting on Iron Condor positions where the contracts are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and that credit a number for you to close out the position keeps shrinking out to the point where you're at such a nice return. You'll close out early and set up a new set of condors for a few days from now. Yet again, this is the name of the game. It's your job. It's your career now. It could become your career, it could become your day job, and it can become very lucrative in a hurry. So stay on it. And there you go. Holy moly, share price obliteration on APLS premiums are spicy. Little chaos. I'm sitting on 10 August. I'm sitting on 10 of the August 11th Iron Condos, 43.45, 35.37 on AI, 90 cents. Currently only at break even, right at the cusp of my low side. We'll see what today brings. So 43.45. They expire on Friday. Okay, got it. And August 11th. So let me take a peek at this here. Here we go. August. Yep, here we are. And what do we got here again? 35.37s. Okay, my quotes are a bit behind, but 35s are 66.68 on the puts. 37s are 138, 145 now. And the market's at 36.55 down 125. So you're right there. And then on the call side, 43.45. 43s are 47 to 49 cents, and 45s are 28 to 30 cents. Right on. So the 43s, yeah. Let me take a look there. Yeah. In theory, you can go from 43s to 41s, and you might move up 30 cents in premium, buy back at 40 in the mid to low 40s, and right in the mid 70s. If you can score a 30-cent gain there on the call at your long, the 45s, they're at 28.30 last I saw. They're probably 25 now. You might move those into the 44 or 43 range on that side, but that you'll see the premiums first to see if there's a spread for you. Can you bring a credit in, is what I'm getting at. Can you bring in a credit if you bring your calls down? That's one move. Number two, on the put side, can you shift the puts a dollar further down? Can you do that as a possibility? Again, you've got 35, 37s. So 35s are worth 66.68. The 34s are now 42.45. And then the 37s are 138, 135, and the 30s. So I'm just watching this. You've got a $2 spread. Yeah, you're good on the $2 side. Fair enough. Keep an eye on whether you can do a roll up as the morning rolls on, because again, all of these contracts will shrink today dramatically. It's Monday, and obviously another day is going to go by. You may do a rollover today. You might not do it till tomorrow, but keep an eye. If the stock, though, does drop further into the 35 range, then you might be motivated to take the calls down a couple of bucks and bring the puts down $1 or $2 as well, and just shift your Condor this way. Okay, keep an eye on that. Let's see. Yes. Before I forget, I checked out some information before buying the class. Is the Iron Condor a credit spread strategy? At least it's mentioned together with the put and call spread. Yes, it is a credit spread strategy, Spire. It was at least the reason why I'll definitely start with that class number 8. Yes. You need to take them all. As many of you are figuring out, if you've been here a while and you've been successful as an option writer, be getting better at it and better at it and better at it, you're all figuring out, and many of you figured it out long ago, there are no shortcuts. There really aren't any shortcuts in life, and you really have to take all the classes. If you're going to do this as a living and you're really serious about this, you want to take class 1 all the way to class 16. Some you'll rewatch a few times because they're much more complex, but others you'll watch once and never again. But each class builds on the next class from the class before. We're building forward. The kind of strategies we're talking about here today are so different than what we talked about here 2 years ago. It's a day and night thing. The kind of discussions some of you folks are having on Discord are very complex, I am sure. The questions that I get are getting more and more complex all the time. One question I get is, should I consider being a bull, a writer of positions where I let me just one second. Let me just get my thing here. Here we go. Here we go. Should I just do a bull put spread or a bear call spread only on the Iron Condor? Should I only do half the Condor? Is that a good strategy to play with? This is an answer for individual players who understand the complexities of the option market. There are times where this stock market will react without any rhyme or reason whatsoever. We'll be up. I've seen days where we're up 300-400 points on the Dow, only to lose 400 points on the Dow at the end of the day, and where iron condor traders in the morning were worried about the upper end of their range, only to find it at the end of the day, everything was at the lower end of their range, and they were grateful they had the range on both ends. When you play one side of the market or the other, now you're gambling. Now, it's a limited gamble. I totally agree with that. If you write a call and then you buy a call above it, the spread is your risk, of course. But with the iron condor, you've taken care of the top and the bottom end, and all you're trying to do is you're conservatively utilizing your capital to peg an index or a stock in a certain range for a certain period of time. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to lessen the amount of time you have the condor in existence and to increase the size of the spread between your put contracts and your call contracts. These two factors right there are 90% of your success rate or failure rate. The amount of spread on the puts and the calls is the third factor determining your risk factor and your margin requirement. And so I say until you are really, really on top of this market, and I don't know if any of you ever will be, you really should be on iron condor trades. You should be on the top and the bottom, a country mile out of the market, just to be on the safe side. But as we get closer in, for example, this is Monday. I've got viewers here who have written condors that expire Friday. On Wednesday or Thursday, you might be able to squeeze your contracts as we come into expiry, depending on how volatile we've been. On the other hand, you also have to be willing to shut down the trade when the trade pays off for you. If you have taken a position where you brought in a $1 credit and with 3 days to go, there's only a 20-cent credit there, shut it down and take the 80 cents, move on. Just move on. You can, grind the last 20 cents out. On the other hand, any volatility might upset the apple cart. It depends, again, on your spread and what you're doing it on. Okay. Let's go. Like I say, Little Chaos right here is dealing with Friday close on AI, and we're between 37 to 43.45. Right now, AI is sitting at 35.82. So those 35 puts that have been written are out of the money, 82 cents. No need to have to do anything at the moment because it is an out of the money contract, but maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, a rollover might be required. On the other hand, if the shares of AI tomorrow are $36.50 and $37 on Thursday morning, then all four of these contracts are in big trouble. They will be shrinking out. And that's great because for Little Chaos, it's going to be, I'm going to shut this thing down. Thank you very much. I'm going to cash in my money. All right. And what is going on? Sounds like there's a good reason why condors are last one on First Trade's list of possibilities. There you go. This is not a strategy for newbies. This is not a strategy for first-time option writers. Iron condors are a trading strategy for people who've been in the option market a bit and have seen some activity in the past. You have experience of wacky markets, crazy days. You've seen the possibilities of an up and a down day in one session. You've seen crazy weeks, crazy months. And that's why I tell you to respect the condor spread and the timing of exposure and the spread on your puts and calls, okay? You're in charge. Okay, GameStop down 20, SoFi down 15, AI down 175, 36.05 on AI. NVIDIA is up $5 at $451. Rocket Lab down 16. Matterport half a penny. Smart Rent down 7 cents, I think. We got ATIP unchanged. Unity down 88. Tesla down 692 now. Apple down $3 to 178.89. Google 129.97. 130.04 on Google now. Moderna 104.27 down 392. Cisco up 25 to 52.88. Pfizer down 2. IBM up 92, almost going to over 145.16 now. HPQ up 25 cents, 32.68. Microsoft up $3 to 330. Amazon up 25 cents at 139.82, holding that 140 range at the moment. Home Depot 116 gain, $1.16. Vanik is up 124. Netflix up 80 cents. Adobe up 509. Goldman Sachs 260 gain. Boeing up 735. Meta 445 gain. Target up 21. JP Morgan up 86. Costco up 566. Walmart up 158. Disney up a dime. American Airlines up 15 cents. DraftKings down 53 cents at the moment. There you have it, everybody. Welcome all to the party. 246-point gain on the Dow. Very good day there. 0.64, 2/3 of a point. S&P up 17, NASDAQ up 11. They're not following. NASDAQ is lagging today at this point. The NASDAQ is the lagger, barely up 1/10, not even a tenth of a percentage point so far. Okay. There it is, a 61-cent drop on oil. 82.21 is where we're at. Cheers, all of you from around the world, to Stock Markets with Bruce. It's great to see you. Love having you here. Thank you all for 122 thumbs ups this morning. I think it's time to honor our friends. The Knights of Knee must be honored. Knee. Do not mess with the Knights of Knee. Bring your shrubbery and angleberries. Is that what we call those? Angleberries? Thank you all very much for being part of this crazy gang of regulars. Hope you're doing okay today. You had a good weekend. Plotting a good week this week. It's a holiday today in Canada. It's Monday. Here it's a holiday Monday today. I'm running my work as usual. Larry Titus, thank you. Neat, says Larry. There we go. The big E. Neat. Here come the me emojis from all over the place. I'm not alone on this. You must honor the Knights of Knee. Do not mess with the Knights of Knee. Oh, to be in that writing room when they come up with this stuff. How does this work? Thank you all for joining in. 36.16 on AI. The low of the session today, 35.58. So we've come back 60 cents in 5 minutes on AI at 36.26 now, after hitting 35.58 for the low of the session. Only two components of the Dow are down today, Apple and Merck. Everyone else is up on the Dow Jones. That's always an interesting headline when you see that kind of stuff. But NASDAQ only up 1/5 of a point, 30-point gain on NASDAQ. Of course, Apple is a big part of that. S&P up 22.5 points, up half a percentage point at the moment. Okay. This is what's going on. Watching this market, we've got more neat emojis and 126 thumbs ups coming through. There's the big E right there. Larry Titus, neat. Deep value, neat. Spire, neat. Drew, 125 thumbs ups. Thank you, Drew, for that. Welcome all. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. And let us know how you're doing on your trades. We'll see if you need any thoughts on it. White Feather is here. Neat. You can't meet that. Thank you all. Welcome to the party, pals. Here we are. Okay. Yellow stocks halted for volatility for third time since the open, was down 32.5% prior to the halt. They're going under. That is the deal. And we have 8 minutes ago, U.S. stocks advance after the worst week for the S&P 500 since March. Not surprising to see a gain. We'll see how long it lasts. So far, it's okay. Half an hour, holding the gains for the most part, actually, and maybe even adding to them a little bit. But NASDAQ is not the leader. It's the laggard. The Dow's up 0.71 of a percentage point. NASDAQ up 0.16. Okay. And watching, we're seeing here different indexes and other numbers to watch. The interest rates, the U.S. Treasury 4.075%, so it's kind of topped out. It touched 4.1 briefly, but we're under that again. The UK 10-year note 4.45%, Italy 4.2%, Germany 2.6%, Japan 0.62. 2/3 of a percentage point is Japanese 10-year notes. No yield there. To inflation, you lose. The euro at 109.98, trying to hold 110 here. The pound at 127.71, and that's actually up on the session a little bit here. And the markets in Europe at the moment are mostly lower, not by a lot though. In London, 0.3%. The German market down about 16/100ths of a percentage point, 24 points on the DAX. In France, we're up a point, so almost unchanged. Not a lot to follow here to report on so far today out of Europe. It's not a radical move anyway. In any way, the Nasdaq now is almost flat, up only 4 points on Nasdaq. Now Nasdaq is up a 2/3 of 1%. We're about to go red on Nasdaq. S&P up 18. The Dow holding 249, interestingly, but Nasdaq just went red, 2/3 of a percentage point to the red. Oil down 76 cents a barrel, 82.06 on West Texas. Getting a little bit of a downgrade there. Southwestern American get downgraded, says Barron's. The airline sector is hitting turbulence. The article says here from Ralph Fresca, it's been a turbulent earnings season for the U.S. airlines, and it's led to a reassessment of the sector's fortunes. Most notable are the signs of a domestic demand slowdown. This is U.S. domestic, flagged by all major carriers heading into the second half of the year. Redburn, an analyst believes Redburn analyst James Goodall says domestic airlines continue to face pressure over the coming years, not just month, preferring carriers more exposed to the international market. With that in mind, he downgraded Southwest Airlines to sell from neutral to sell, and American Airlines to neutral from buy in a note on Monday. American is one of the 3 U.S. airlines most exposed to international travel, but Goodall noted it has the greatest exposure to the more competitive domestic market. Goodall upgraded United Airlines to buy from neutral given its strong international presence and maintained a buy rating on Delta. Interesting. Those are some of the comments coming out from these people regarding airline stocks. As I was saying this morning when we first started talking, there are certain sectors of this economy that are doing well or better than others, let's say, and we are not going to see a bull market across the board for everything all the time. We're going to see certain sectors of this economy struggle. Airlines, mixed bag right there. Real estate, it's going to be a struggle. Higher rates, higher mortgages. Commercial property might do worse than residential property. And then inside commercial, you've got, apartment rental, strip malls, skyscrapers. You have all these various divisions of real estate. It's not all great and it's not all terrible, but it's challenging for definitely in the commercial space. Industrials, winners and losers, consumer staples, discretionary stocks, entertainment type stocks. I mean, up and down. Barbie is the hot movie right now, but there aren't 20 other hot movies. There's the one, and that's it. And so theater chains, after this week, what do they get all excited about? If this actors strike and writers strike is unresolved, there are no new hits coming to the movie theaters. There are no blockbuster movies coming for Labor Day. There's no blockbuster movie for Thanksgiving coming up. Just think about that. Think about Thanksgiving weekend without any blockbuster movies coming out. We're talking some serious amount of money that is usually generated from Hollywood and the studios and AMC and all of our friends. Not good. This Christmas season, what is the movie dynamic looking like? What about television? What about Netflix? What about Prime? What about these entities, these HBOs and all these guys without new anything? The television season's coming up here. The only thing you can watch that is new is sports. NBA, NHL hockey, the NFL this year will have a banner year because it's the only new thing to watch. Going to be interesting as this goes, as we continue to follow this development here. White Feather, neat, howdy partner, neat, John Anderson, neat, Spire, neat. Drew, I'm looking to roll my AI Iron Condor. I wrote 36, 38, 43, 45. What are your thoughts? Yes, you can certainly look into this. We're at 35.57 again on AI, so we've given up a little pop here. We popped up into the 36 level, and now we backed off again to 35.62. The low of the day, 35.35. So, if you can make an adjustment, say those 43, 45s and make them 41, 43s, and you can do the 36, 38s and make them 35, 37s, 34, 36s, you might do that as the day wears on. Again, these options will depreciate out on time. Just because the stock is down 227 doesn't mean options have moved $2 a piece either. There is that thing to keep an eye on here. Let me just take a peek here. You've got AI. I'm assuming you have this Friday's AIs. I'm assuming the 11th, the August 11s. Let me see here. 36, 38. So a $36 put has appreciated 78 cents. Now I'm 10 minutes behind, so I'm obviously probably not exactly accurate, but it's an interesting thing to see the stock move $2 and this put only go up 78 cents. The $38 put that you own has gone up $1 in value, with now a 295, 315 last bid ask, and I'm sure it's over 3 now. On the call side, those 43, 45s, the 43s have dropped to what is it? They're down 28 cents to 19 cents, and the 40, you said the 45s are now down to 11 cents. These are the two you want to make a move on for sure, I think. I think if you can move into maybe 40s or 41s, that might be a move. 41s perhaps might be the way to go to bring in additional cash. But again, you don't have to do this today. I would really be looking at these rollovers for tomorrow or Wednesday. Right now, the stock 35.59. Fair enough. Okay. It's off 220, but is this the session, or are we going to see a $1 improvement at the end of the day and be at $36.60, $37? And if we have a $1-2 gain tomorrow, we're at 38 by tomorrow, and all of a sudden all your contracts are out of the money. You're going to see shrinkage dramatically. Sit tight and see what happens. There's no rush here to make a move at this point. Manager, rinse and repeat, had sold United Healthcare 470 strike when it was deep on Friday. Now it's in the green, just closed out for $3,600, waiting for it to go red again. So I'll write some more cash secured puts to collect another premium. Right on, manager. Deep value options. Citadel hates the NASDAQ. Matthew, Apple falling hard. Home Skillet, SoFi approaching 9. SoFi, Spire, sounds like I can use calmly the winter for rewatching everything I missed this year. BW, Uncle Bruce, the movie industry has about 2 years worth of movies, quote, in the can. So we'll be fine. Well, we'll find out about that. slim pickings at the theaters after Barbie, really. Oppenheimer, and then maybe Holly. They've got that horror movie they brought out. Was that brought out early?
Disney's Haunted House.
Yeah, was that brought out early?
I don't think you get to call it a horror movie.
Okay, a comedy. Was that supposed to be, though, a Halloween release? But they brought it out now.
I don't know.
Each studio is different, BW. White Feather got my AI poor man cover call and my SPY Iron Condors written. Have a great day, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Right on, White Feather. Not a lurker. Number 128 on the thumbs up. Thank you, Drew. August 11th. Yes, manager getting ready to write cash ticket puts on SoFi. Larry, good morning, Auntie Jen.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Larry from Auntie Jen. Yes, folks. Look, these dips. Dow's up nice, 254. We've got a mixed bag though everywhere else. We're up 20 on SPY. We were just negative on Nasdaq. We're +7 now, but Nasdaq is way behind.
Not sure what to do. Yeah.
Nasdaq is not even a tenth of a percentage point up. The Dow's up 0.75 of a point. Oil down 86 cents. We're watching AI today. It's off 184 to 35.96. Cash secured puts are definitely an idea there for those of you who love doing that. SoFi 924 down 26.
Ooh.
Hey, $9 puts, $8, $7.50 cash secured puts could be right up your alley, kids. You've made a lot of money on this stuff. GameStop 2060 down 38. These calls are falling off on GameStop. Got to be making you folks money out there who've written deep in the money covered calls and others. Way to go. Let's see what happens. What else? Deep value. Keith Gill, deep value stock. AMCX is the one everyone's confusing with AMC. Just hit all-time low. Definitely deep value territory for the stock. Almost $1 billion in cash at $600 million in market cap. I don't know anything about this dude. Okay, Uncle Bruce, how would you play on Apple Iron Condor with 11 days call, 11 days call side, 207 put side 180.85. Right now it's losing me 250 on the put side. Okay, so let me take a look at Apple here. We're at 179.14, 179.28. Low of the day 178.21. Okay, so you got the 180s and 185s on the put side, right? And you're 212, 207 on the call side. I think you want to bring the calls down. Definitely. You want to bring them down. I would not be afraid to write all the way down to 195, 197 on the calls, because your calls right now have got to be worthless. I'm sure they're worth virtually nothing. So you need to bring in some capital. You should bring in capital on the calls because they have really depreciated out. Let me double check now on this contract. Okay, Apple. Just let me get my big ass iPad to load up. Okay, dude is going to make money. Let's see. We're talking about. I think you're talking about August the 18th expiry, 11 days from now, right? Okay, so let's go up here on the Apples. You said you have 207s and 212s. Okay. Yeah, the 207.5s are 3-4 cents. The 212s, 2 to 3 cents. You got to buy those back. You got to close those out. You got to move now into. I would take a look at 190s, 192.5s, or 187.50s and 190s, something like that. Maybe 187.50s and 192.5s. I'd go there. That would bring in at least 50 cents premium on the call, and that's an improvement. Because right now, the two calls you have are worthless. They're like really out of the money. Bring them down. Okay, that's step one. Step two now, 180.85 puts. Okay, let's take a look here. Here we are. Okay, 180s are 340, 345. 185s are 680, 685. Okay. On the put side. So the key here is, do you want to make a move on the put side any lower? As I am speaking to you, 179.33 on the stock. Low 178. Do you need to make a move at this moment in time? Looking at the 180 put at 340, that's all premium. It's not, well, it's in the money 60 cents, pardon me. It's in the money 60 cents, 280 cash time premium that has to be eviscerated. 11 days. We've got time, right? The one, what did you say on the other one? 180s and 185s. 185s are worth right now 550, and so they're going for 680.85. They're trading at almost book. So the stock reaches 180, 181 here. If it does that today, do you need to really move on the puts right away? No. Your next move would be going to 177.50s from 180s. That would be your next move. That'll run you $1.20 right now, $1.10. But there's a lot of premium in here, and we're 11 days away. I wouldn't do anything at this point on that side. On the call side, you can certainly come down if you want. If we're going to approach your 180, maybe you can get 55, 60 cents on some calls. Because right now, those 1 and 2 and 3 cent calls, you got to move. You got to close those out and bring them in. Bring them in. You're comfortably way up there, which is great. But I don't see the stock going to $200 a share in the next few days, in the next week. I don't see this. But I see the shares in this 175.85 range, theoretically. And so bring those calls down, into this, like I said, into this neighborhood of, the 187.50s, 190s. I'd be down there for sure, and take some cash. 185s even would bring you $1, would bring you 92 cents, but I don't know if you need to do that today either. Just thoughts. I mean, we're spitballing here, okay? Drew says, thanks. Spire, Uncle Bruce, is there faith that is only a dip instead of a new bottom at SoFi? I can't answer that question. Manager, this iron Condor is too complicated for me. We'll stick to cash security puts and cover calls for her now. Home Skillet, personally, I'm amazed that so many here got broker approval to trade iron Condors. Home Skillet, as I've said before, TDA requires a PhD. Trade. TD Ameritrade, I gotcha.
An ICPhD.
All righty. The thing with Condors is not to move too soon. Have a nice spread, which is what you're doing, and allow these markets to fluctuate. Allow these contracts to shrink. This is the game. This is the game. But if you're going out 14 days or 7 days, you've got to wait a few days for shrinkage to come in here. Contracts that expire this Friday will shrink tomorrow and Wednesday big time, and will continue to shrink Thursday and Friday. No matter what they're in the money or not, they're going to shrink down. And so that's your key here to watch for.
And
Jen.
the iron condors are just another tool in your toolbox.
Correct. They're another tool in your tool chest. Exactly. So how you doing, Auntie Jen?
Good. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is.
We've got a lovely breeze. Nice. So far, it's not bringing any smoke with it coming from the west.
Far, yeah, we're doing all right, and we're going to be in the 70s here, not in the 90s.
Yes,
we're not dying of the heat. Slowly but surely, we're getting into travel mode here. We're beginning to think about what to take with us.
Can you hear the panic in my voice?
It's coming, packing. Oh God, we got to pack again.
I don't sleep at night. I think of packing.
I think of packing. What are we taking? What are we not taking? This year versus last year. How are we going to do it this year versus last year? That kind of thing. Yeah, we've got.
Because it's hard. I don't know what I took last year that I didn't wear.
So, right.
If you take something you don't wear, you're like, wow, I don't need to take that again.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, and the other thing about travel is if you take less with you, and you are in a location where you need an article of clothing that is of a different whatever, you can buy it there.
Yes, but our suitcases are pretty.
Well, if you take a smaller selection this year than last year, assuming, and then you do need something, an acquisition can be made. But we can't buy 25 articles of clothing on the road. But going into the road, we are also no longer rookies, and we kind of know, well, we do need clothing for temperature from the 50s to the 90s.
Right.
That's kind of what we should be doing here, generally speaking. And when we're inside,
70s.
when we're inside our room in our hotel,
Yeah.
it's 70. I mean, it's air conditioned. It's 70, 72.
Yes.
Right? So there you go. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it. The trip is coming up and you're mobile.
That's right.
It's different. It's different this year. It is really different this year. Spire saying, good morning, Auntie Jen.
Good afternoon, Spire.
Charlie, Uncle Bruce, do you like 8 or 9 SoFi puts for cash secureds or not for writing? Cash secureds. I don't know if you can get 8s. That's the thing. 750s or 9 might be the number. It depends on the premium. I want premium, man. I want cash. I know if a put is in the money, it'll have a higher value. But if it's out of the money and it's a premium, I like that too. Time. You might be looking at January. Dude, thanks, Uncle B. Charlie, looking at March SoFi puts right now. Right on. Okay. Amy doing Iron Condors. Disney again. 8/11 expiry this Friday. 75.80s, 91.96s, trying a $5 between strikes this time, says Amy on Disney. 75.80, 91.96. Disney.
Bringing the edges in.
Well, yeah, Disney 86.56. So you're definitely 75.80, 91. Yeah.
No numbers coming out this week or anything?
I think there is, but I'm not afraid of the upside on Disney, to be honest. Even if they came out with a surprise good number, there's too much overhanging Disney to have it go to 100 a share. I just don't fear this. So I like the downward side of 75.80. Definitely. Mr. Premium Stinker just hit on AI. I sold a cash secured put for January, a $30 strike, and I got $5.70 for it. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's $24.30 on the purchase commitment. Wow, that's awesome. AI at 35.55 right now. W. Walters, 130 thumbs up. Good morning, all. I bought back my AI covered calls too soon. Oh darn, I made money.
Yeah, that's right.
Amy, earnings next week, Bruce, next week. So this week you're good. Okay, good. Okay.
But she's
even she's on it. Yeah. I couldn't remember. I knew people were talking here last week about earnings coming for Disney, but was it this week or next? Now we know. Thank you, Amy. Very good.
Yeah.
We're up to 300 on the Dow. We're up 317 now on the Dow. This is the high of the day, roughly. We're up 27.5 on S&P. That's 2/3 of a percentage point. And the NASDAQ is coming along with a 29-point gain, a 1/5 of a point. It's being dragged up.
Yeah.
And so fine. The oil down $1, 81.79 a barrel. So oil under a little pressure. Very good. AI is down with the Dow up 300 points. Go figure. SoFi down 21 cents. Yeah. GameStop down 31. So that there's some stocks running contrary to the market. Nvidia up 630.
That just gives them a chance to come up later in the week.
Yeah, well, there's that. Tesla down $4 because the CFO is leaving. Apple down $240 with a follow through of selling, but it was lower than that. It's already rebounding. Apple is rebounding. Google up 180. So, Jen.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
If it's a holiday for you, have a nice holiday.
Holiday in Canada.
Some provinces.
Is it? It's
a provincial.
It's a quirky.
And
Monday.
Apparently it's called Heritage Day.
Heritage Day.
Yes. I heard that on the radio this morning. I thought it was just an August holiday.
And you're heading out today with Jen Jr.
I am.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Mommy and daughter getting together today.
I don't know if we're going to do anything exciting. We're planning on seeing Barbie. I just don't know when. Got to get some pink in my hair. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later, Auntie Jen. Oh, man. Oh, man. All righty. Here you go. Wait. Earnings this week, says Amy. Well, see, here we go. Karen, not sure about this Iron Condor. I started last week to expire August 11th. The puts are 187.5, 190, and the calls are 202 to 205. Okay, now I'm playing the game called What Stock Is This? What stock is this? A $200 something, $195, $200 stock. I'm not sure which one we're talking about. Karen, help me here. Bobby, quirky or not, holiday's a holiday. Happy holidays, Uncle Bruce and Auntie Jen. Thank you, Bobby. Larry, happy Merry Heritage Day. Karen, Apple. It's Apple, Bruce. I'm on Apple. Okay, so Apple is 187, 190 to 202, 205. Okay, so your Apple has dropped on you. All right. Hang on here. Here we go. 179.46. So obviously the market has gone lower than where you want it. So you are in a scenario here where you want to be looking at bringing down your calls. I think you want to bring your calls down into that 195, maybe lower neighborhood. You're way out. The 202s, they're worthless. The 202, 205s, you can close them up for nothing. Write new calls closer in. On the put side, you want to come lower if you can. Can you bring down both of those by 2.5 by 5? You gotta take a look here at these premiums. Again, this is not imminent to be done this second, but we are talking August 11th, and these calls and puts will drop. Your 202s and 205s. The 202 and a halves are a penny. The 205s are 2 pennies. You got to get rid of those. You got to move into probably maybe looking into 185s. Bring you something. 182.50. I don't know about 182.50s, but your calls have done the job. On the put side, where we begin, 187.50, 190. There we go. We're at 860, and we're at 11 on those two. So they have obviously moved higher. The 190s are worth 1050 right now, book value. They're trading at 11. And you're long one of these and you're short the other. Okay, I got it. You're short this one, you're long the 187.50s, and it's now 860, 870. There we are. Okay, so you've locked in your risk factor at $250. That's the risk factor you have. 187.50 to 190, $250 risk factor. On the call side, whatever you brought in is yours to keep, essentially. If you're going to drop your puts on both sides, you're going to need to come up with some capital, and you're not going to bring in enough capital by bringing your calls down enough at this point. But let me double check here. 179. And I'm going to look at these calls again here on the fly. Yeah, I mean, writing a 185 and getting 40 cents for it will compensate you only 40 cents towards making a move on the put side. However, the 187.50, the 190. Okay, the 187.50. You could sell it and get about 870 for it, and you could pick up a 182.50 for the 430 range. You could make that move, and that would save you $4. You would sell at 860, 870, and buy at 420. It's a $4 differential. That will compensate you to move the 190 from 11 to 187.50. That's a 250 cost, maybe even almost to the 185 level. If you took the 187.50 put, sold it for 870, 875, and actually purchased a 180 put, that would be a 260 purchase, 270 purchase. That would give you about $6 in credit, which would allow you to move your 190 down to the 185 level, or maybe even 182.50. Think about that. Do the mathematics. Get a pen and a paper, and write it down. And look at this. Look at the possibilities, because you're going to sell a put for a profit. You're going to buy a put for a loss and write another put for another credit. The difference between the written put and the new written put versus the put you're selling versus the put you're buying, those two numbers will let you shift downwards $2.50 to $5 on this move, which I would recommend you look into. Okay, so can you get to 180, 250, 180? Can that be your new put position from 187.50 to 190? The call has to go down to the 187.50, 190 neighborhood, or 185, 187.50 neighborhood. That's where the call will go. But the put definitely will go lower. You've got to shift both now. One will be much more credit worthy than the other. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. You got homework to do. All right. Can keep us posted, please. Okay. Home skill. We need to sell cover calls on GameStop while it's down here. What are your thoughts? Should I be doing this? What are your thoughts? Always be writing. I say GameStop 2066. Can you write 22s for January? Can you get a decent premium on these? What can you get on the GameStop premium wise? Does it make it worth your while? We are now sitting on a 2070 market, down 28 cents this morning. January 2024 calls. Let's see what they're going for. My big S iPad is just sitting here and is not reacting. Come on, man. There we go. January 2250s, 287 to 320. Can you get 320 for a 2250 contract? $1.80 out of the money. There's $3+ of shrinkage here available to you. It's all premium. Even the 2375, can you get 280 for those? That's further out of the money. 280 in your pocket. Something to consider. Spire. So Barbie, Jen goes without Ken. Yeah, that's right. I won't be going to that move. Not me. We're up 313 on the Dow now. 313 points, everybody. Welcome to the party, pal. And everybody, good to see you here. There we go. And there we have it. We're up 314 on the Dow, 28 on S&P, 28 on NASDAQ. Right on. All righty. Okay, made my play, says Bobby Atkinson. I bought back my January 50 call for a $50 gain. Bought back my January $50 call, $50 gain. Changed my cash secured put from 40 August 25 to 38 September 1 for a $20 gain. Still have the call to rewrite. Arms crossed till tomorrow, I think. Okay, Bobby's working. Hope you're right about the $1 gain by the end of the day. On AI, this is an AI move. So on AI, he went from Jan 50s and changed my cash secured put from 40 to 38s and gained on it. Got it. Okay. And on AI, well, we'll find out. Yes, indeed. AI 35.91. Down 189. Low of the session on AI today, 35.35. 7.3 million traded right now. Anyway, there you have it. 35.35 low, 37.92 high, and we're at the lower end. Okay, lots to watch, lots to follow. Oh my God. Thank you all for thumbs ups today. 135. They're still coming through one by one. I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words and keeping me posted on how you're doing. We'll keep following these markets with you, these trades with you. Never a dull moment in the markets. Okay, there we have that. Tons of fun going on out there. There we go. SoFi 936 after bottoming at 916 about 20-30 minutes ago. We've come up 20 cents on SoFi. Here we go again. That's what these markets do. They move up, they move down, and you follow along and see what they want to do. 31 cent drop on GameStop. SoFi down only 15. AI off 206 to 35.74, 72 roughly. NVIDIA's up 670 today. The Rocket Lab up down 28. Matterport down 2. Smart Rent down 3.5. ATIP up 14 today, 763. Unity down 90. Tesla down 590. Apple down 310 at 178.89 right now. Low of the day, 178.21 on Apple. We're near the lower end of the range here at the moment. Google up 170 at the moment. Moderna down 637 to 101 on Moderna. This has been an interesting week. We were 116 last week on this stock. We were 127 July 13th. And we were 126.80 on July 21st. And so in 3-4 weeks, from 126 to 101 on Moderna. 52-week low, 101.73. We are at the low of the year on Moderna. This is the low of 52 weeks for Moderna. Interesting. Cisco, 52.93, up 30. Pfizer up 8. IBM up 170 to 145.94. Winners here. HPQ up 38. Microsoft up 225. Amazon up 84. Spire up a half a penny. Home Depot up 240. Vanik 140 higher. Netflix up 144. Adobe up 82. Goldman up 306. Boeing up 560. Facebook, the old Meta, up 260. So we got gainers, losers. JP Morgan is up 150. Target up 55. Costco up 670. Walmart up 250 to $160.91 on Walmart. Disney up 38. That's 86.68. American Airlines down 3. DraftKings down 16 cents. There you have it. And Bobby, I have the call rewrite stinker set for Jan 45, 815. I'm asking 815 right on, man. That is a beautiful premium. If you get your hands on that, right on, pal. Well done indeed. Right on, everybody. Keeping on top of these markets. Thank you, everybody. 138 thumbs ups. If you can find that thumbs up button, nail it for us. Give us a little upward momentum there. We'd appreciate it. Keep your calls and puts close and keep an eye on your markets. And I'll keep you posted on what I see here. And we'll see how everything works out as the week grinds on. Thank you all for joining me today. Coming up to 6 years on the air as a creator. Unbelievable. It's great to have you here. And I tell you, we got a lot to watch. Never a dull moment. A 314 gain on the Dow, 26 on S&P, 19 on NASDAQ now. Oil down $1 for a barrel. That's what we have at the moment, guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day today. Join me tonight on TWB. No rest here for Uncle B. Traveling with Bruce will be on the air at 7 and 8 o'clock. Eastern time, and we'll keep an eye on these markets in the meantime. You guys keep me posted how you're doing on those condors, and set them in the middle, and let's see what happens. Okay, guys. All right, there it is. A couple of reds, a couple of greens. And we'll see where we play it from here. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.